to welcome everybody. Thank you so much for joining this breakout session. We were going to be talking about virtual story time. And this is my first time doing a Zoom presentation in this manner. So bear with me as I learn to navigate the slides. But you should be seeing my screen. You'll notice too that all the videos are turned off and you are muted. That's just to help with the presentation go smoothly. I will be utilizing the chat throughout the presentation, just asking different questions, but there will be time at the end for a Q&A where you'll be able to unmute yourselves and ask questions or share resources that you might have to offer as well. So we'll go through the slides. Yes, Karen did start the recording. Thank you. And I want to take a second to thank our founding partner, SJSU and Library 2.0 for putting on this awesome conference, mini conference. And hi, a little bit about myself. So my name is Bailee Hutchinson. I am the branch manager at the Altus Public Library. And I've been working in libraries for almost 4 years now. And working in a small and rural library, as you know, you probably wear many hats in one day. Through different conversations that I've had with other librarians over the last several years, I've realized that sometimes this is a career that's just kind of, I call myself an accidental librarian. My background's in psychology. I did not anticipate working in a library, but I had a wonderful opportunity when I lived in Tennessee to be the director at a small and rural library at Bolivar, Tennessee. And that's when I fell in love with it. I knew this is what I want to do. And libraries are so incredibly important to the community, and that is what I started doing. So I'm currently working on my master's in library and information science online. And I have 2 girls and I'm married, and so that's just a little bit about me. Oh, and I'm from Altus, Oklahoma, which is Southwest Oklahoma. Work at the Altus Public Library, and there's my contact information. I'm also very involved in my local organization or state organization, the Oklahoma Library Association, and on a national level, the Association for Rural and Small Libraries. I currently serve on the board for that, and so I'm very passionate about small and rural libraries and the importance that they have in their community. So, our next slide. So virtual story time, that is what we're here for. I would like to know who, if you can comment in the chat box, I'm just kind of curious just to gauge where we're at. Are you currently offering a virtual story time from your library? I don't want to assume, oh, yes, yes, no, not yet, yes, 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 no, okay. Tons of yeses, some nos, some starting next week. Yes, no, but want to, okay, wonderful. So what I want to explain a little bit is just virtual story time. Story time that you do at your library, you know, pick out books, you might do crafts, sing some songs, and hopefully, you know, your kiddos, patrons are coming in and you get to do that face to face. Virtual is the same thing, except for it's online. So you take out the face-to-face factor and you are either utilizing your phone or a laptop or a tablet, and there'll be different platforms that we'll talk about that you can deliver your virtual story time. And that is what we do. So we are going to talk a little bit about that. And we're going to talk about, ooh, I gotta find my slide button. There we go. So I want to talk about 5 different things. There's a lot of things that we could talk about with virtual story time. And I see that somebody said something about copyright issues. And on my resource slide, I have added some links that have articles that cover copyright issues and stuff. We do not have the time to go into all of that in depth. So I really just want to highlight 5 points that I feel are very important when you are preparing yourself to do virtual story time, or you're trying to revamp your story time. We're going to talk about the why, the where, the when, the who, and the how. So our first one, why? Why do virtual story time? Well, the first time I ever did virtual story time was in Tennessee, and I didn't have any kids coming to my program. I think we were just kind of going through a cycle. Not many people were showing up. And I thought, well, if they're not going to come in here for a program, then how can I go to them? Why not do FaceTime Live? I was scared to death. The very first time I ever did a Storytime Live, I'm pretty sure I was monotone the whole time, and I sweated a lot. So don't worry if you are very nervous about being on a camera or doing virtual Storytime in that way. Well, fast forward a few years and introduce COVID-19. So COVID-19 has drastically changed our why. It is now an essential program service for us to offer because we no longer have in-person programming. So another question I would like to ask, if you could take a second to put in the chat box, are you doing any in-person programming now or in the foreseeable future? No. Yes, not yet. No, nothing in person. Hope to in the summer, possibly in autumn. Yes, these are coming in really quickly. So I'm getting the more overwhelming sense of no. And if you're anything I want to preface this with, every community is different. So you might have a way smaller community and able to open up to the public in a different way that maybe other libraries are not. Currently for us, we are not doing any in-person programming. We are open to the public with limited services. But that means no story times. Our summer reading looks drastically different this year. So our why to do virtual story time is because it's essential. It's an opportunity for us to connect with our community and to provide a service that they are not able to get in person right now. So as we go throughout this session, I just want you to start thinking about your why. Some of you said you haven't started a story time yet, but you want to, you are. So start asking yourself, why am I doing this? And sometimes your why might change. Okay, so we've talked about our why, and our next is where. So this is going to be twofold. Where, as in physically, and where, as in where do you deliver it virtually. So we'll talk about the physical part first. What's beautiful about virtual story time is you can do it anywhere. Here I am in Missouri, being able to do this conference with you because it's virtual. So the same thing with virtual story time. When the library shut down and we had to work from home, I did virtual story time from my kitchen, from my living room, from my dining room, and even my bathroom, because my bathroom has really good lighting and my shower curtain's pretty cute, so it was a great backdrop. So that is what is awesome about it, is you can do it anywhere. And now that we happen to be back into the library, it's fun to set up different backdrops, especially with the Imagine Your Story theme, and do our story time in front of those areas. But this is a time where you can get really creative. You can do a virtual story time outside. You can do it with if you have pets, with your puppies. Kids love being able to see that, and it's just another opportunity for them to connect with you as their librarian. So we've talked about the physical wear. Now we are going to talk about the virtual wear. Personally, I use Facebook Live. And like I said, it has taken a little bit for me to kind of get my bearings. I'm pretty sure I read somewhere where someone's glasses fogged up, and my glasses fog up often because I get nervous. But the demographic that we are trying to reach in our community, the majority of their traffic is on Facebook. So that is what's worked really well for us. You could also record your story times and post it at a later time. A lot of libraries utilize YouTube, so they've created a YouTube channel for themselves and recorded their videos and uploaded it to YouTube, Insta stories, and even uploading to your website. So there are several different options, and I would like to do a quick poll. Who in here has at least Facebook for their library page? We do, yes, yes. I just want to make sure that I'm speaking to people, or that this is something that you guys could utilize today or tomorrow. Yes. Okay. Oh, Zoom. I just saw somebody say record on Zoom. That is another. A lot of people are utilizing Zoom now. Facebook and YouTube. Okay, so that's a fairly common used social media platform to get our virtual story time out. Okay, so we've talked about the why, we've talked about the where, and now we're going to talk about the when. When do you do virtual story time? You might have already set a consistent story time for your library. Like for our library, we had story time every Wednesday at 10:30 a.m. So when COVID happened and we found out that we were going to have to work from home, we decided to start using story time, or start doing story time every single day at 10:30. So that was what we decided to do at that point. Well, now that we are back into the library, we're having to kind of reevaluate that why, which ties into the when, and also knowing the needs of your community. We started realizing that was becoming a lot to keep up with, doing it every single day. And then our patrons are just getting inundated with videos every day. So we decided to go back to once a week. And that has really helped our views and interaction piece. I want to take a moment to address this question. Somebody asked, how do we reach the community members that are not into technology very much? Certain communities do not have TV, Facebook, etc. And that is an excellent question, because access has been such a huge topic, especially in this time of everything having to be virtual. And so we just try to get the word out in every way possible. I would suggest or encourage you to get the word out on your radio. If you have a newspaper, encourage the fact that they could come and use the Wi-Fi to watch the Facebook Lives. But I would love to hear what other people think about that and what they've done and found successful for them. So to go back, a part of the win is honoring your patrons' time. So I remember kind of thinking, so time management, I'll go ahead and say this, and those who know me will laugh at this, but is not my super strong suit. So especially trying to figure out when to do a virtual story time, it's really easy to get into the habit of maybe doing it at 2 o'clock one day, 10:30 another day, and 11 this day. But if you are consistent and whatever you decide and you stick with it, unless something like happens that you are out of your control, but you say, okay, we are doing story time every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at noon. And your patrons know, they start to be able to rely on that and expect that and show up for that. Also, another point is being considerate of their time, how much time they're setting in front of the video. I don't know about you guys, but Zoom fatigue and just kind of spending all this time doing distance learning, it is a lot. It's a lot for us as adults. It's a lot for our kids. It's a lot for our parents and kids. So being cognizant of how much time that you are putting them in front of the screen. What I found to work best for us, and this may not be for everybody, is anywhere between 8 to 11 minutes. I try to always keep it at below 15 minutes at the max. And so when you're doing a Facebook Live, that's always a great opportunity to also do any announcements. that you have going on to allow people to join in your Facebook Live, but still just being respectful of their time and trying to keep that short. Yes, Linda said screen fatigue. It is a real thing. So we have covered our why, we've covered our where, and we've covered our when. The next thing that we are going to cover is our who. And I love this point because I'm going to say who you. It's you. That is the first person that I think of when you think of virtual story times. As mentioned in the session description, as rural and small librarians, you might wear 6 different hats in any given day. You might have to walk in and be in charge of fixing a leak in the bathroom, fixing some disgruntled patron issue, or balancing the budget, coming up with programs. There's a lot of things that you could possibly be in charge of. So how are you going to have time to do a virtual story time? Or, you know, I don't have fancy equipment, or I don't have what this person has. And that's okay. All you need is yourself, an enthusiastic personality or attitude, and just being authentic. Another way, this is a great opportunity to engage community members, building up those partnerships. And what's so awesome about it being virtual is I think it takes the pressure off of them like having to come to the library and working that into their schedule. You can reach out to, I had a friend in Idaho, and she had past pageant queens do their story times for a few weeks. So it was really neat to get a glimpse into their lives. They read their story, they had their kids with them. You could do that. You could reach out to your fire department or your police officer and host the story time from those places. So it's a really awesome opportunity to build partnerships in your community, explore different maybe community professions, anything that you think would be great. Then dress up, be authentic. Those are very important things. At first, I did not really incorporate any of those because I was so focused on just being able to get through reading a book while being videotaped. Slowly starting to get into that, and I have some great examples on the resource slides of other librarians who have done an excellent job with utilizing stuff that they just have in their library or at their house in order to really spice up their story time. So, and utilize your strengths. So if you're like to sing or know sign language or any of those things, you can incorporate that into a story time. Okay. Now we are going to talk about the how. So how do I do virtual story time? I know for me, I was really overwhelmed at first about how to do virtual story time because the people that I'd seen do it had a lot of fancy equipment and different things they used. And I just started out using my phone. I just have just a regular iPhone. All you need is a smartphone or the capability to connect with a video like on your laptop or a computer. Yeah, that is about it. That's your main thing that you need. So, and then also access to social media. So whatever platform you're using, whether that be Facebook, YouTube, Zoom, whether you're pre-recording it or not. Oh, Mary said tripod. Yes, so I just now got a tripod, and we've been doing virtual story time forever, and a tripod has tremendously helped when you are filming filming by yourself. And Kat, oh, you asked for the resource link. So it is on my like last slide. So I guess when we get to that, I'll see if I could actually put those resource links in the chat so they could be clickable. And Karen, will these slides be able to be shared
That is a great question. Let me ask our partners and see if they can be shared. Otherwise, I can also type in the links for you if you just want to keep presenting, because we're
Okay.
at our 10-minute mark.
Oh, awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
So, one thing that I learned too is when you're doing it in selfie mode, if you are doing it by yourself and you don't have somebody to record, for Facebook, there is an effect you can push to where the words don't read backwards. So also, if you have any more questions as we are nearing the end of our time, please don't hesitate to email me or reach out to me, because I would love to hear from you. And also, if you have any tips, because that is a great thing about this. We all learn from each other. Okay. So if you don't pick up on anything else that I've said, I've tried to come up with a fun acronym to remember my 4 key takeaways with READ. So respect your patrons' time. As we've already talked about that, be consistent in your time and the amount of time that you are actually reading. E, engage your patrons and your community. Ask your patrons, type in your kids' names in the box and I'll give them a shout out during story time. Let me know when your kid's birthday is and I'll give a shout out during story time. Ask questions about the story. A, always be authentic. Just be you. Be goofy, have fun. If you feel awkward, then you are probably doing an amazing job. I think back to like Blue's Clues and there's other shows, and they're always so goofy and they're asking those questions and then you pause, but those kids across the screen, they're connecting with you. So we have R, E, and A, and finally D, do not be afraid. Be brave. You have what it takes to do virtual story time and have fun with it. So those are my 4 main takeaways. And here's my resource slide, Karen. So I'm not entirely sure. Obviously, those links are not going to be clickable. I just realized that. So we'll figure out how to get those to you though, because I do have an article about fair use law. Okay. If you will just email me, I will send you all of these links and these slides. I believe I'll have to personally share these slides. And that is the end. So now is time for Q&A. So if I try to keep up with some of the chat conversation, but if anybody has a question or just something they would like to share. Oh, yes, I'll leave that slide up. And I'm going to put my email in the chat right now, just so you can easily copy it. Here we go. Let's see, ALA workforce to find a way we can still keep virtual story time happening in libraries. Yes. Okay, how is it that you get, okay, so I am just going to see if I can show you. So if you go to Facebook and you go to live, there is a magic wand down on the left screen. If you click that magic wand down in the left screen, and then you go all the way to like a tool, tools, you click the flipping screen, and you click
Bailee, you got, you're frozen.
Wait, yes.
Sorry.
Am I still frozen?
A little bit. You were cutting in and out.
Oh no.
You're back.
I'm back?
No.
No.
It was pretend.
Is it working now? Oh, Jan.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it working at all? I hear voice, just no visual. Okay. Okay, so if you go from the wand, I'm just going to kind of say it over really quick. And then you'll see an option to pick tools. And you click those tools, and then the very first option on the bottom left, there is the double screen. And you click that and it reverses the screen. So when you read the words, it's not backwards to your audience. Thank you, Karen, for posting those links.
You got it.
All right. And thank you guys so very much for joining me for this virtual storytime session. I feel like I always learn so much from everybody else, and it was a great opportunity. Okay, the fair use. That could be its own session by itself. It's just going over fair use. Hope everybody enjoys the keynote speaker at the end. Right, storytime examples. Yay, Mary, you got this. Okay, any last minute questions before? How many books would you read in 11 to 13 minutes? That's an excellent question. I typically have time to read 1 or 2 to 3 books. It depends on how long the book is. Yes, Jane, ALA has a great article from their lawyer on fair use. And Karen, I don't know if you could speak to that. Is there a way to jump to the keynote speaker from here? And Brenda, if you email me, I will send you these slides.
Yes, and also we just got, Debbie just alerted me too, Bailee, that if you email the event organizers, that they'll be able to send slides out.
Okay.
So I'll just send you that information right now.
All right.
But no, I don't know off the top of my head how we can jump to the keynote speaker at the end from here. I think we might have to reroute all of ourselves.
Okay. Well, they will post the slides from our recordings page. Wonderful, Debbie.
Woohoo!
Okay. Hey.
Thanks, Debbie.
Thank you, everyone. Oh, the A in the acronym was always be authentic. You're very welcome. Now, Karen, does this automatically shut off?
I am going to stop it. I was just waiting to see if we had any other last minute questions from anybody. Speak now or forever hold your peace.
All right. And Karen, thank you so much for your help.
Absolutely. It's been my pleasure. All right. I think it looks like we're winding down, so I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording, Bailee.
Okay.